Alrighty, boys. We got ourselves Tasty going up first versus Hamburger. Why would you put him up against Hamburger first? That's unfair, boys, but this is going to be a rematch for those who wall for Hamburger up a little bit early. Hamburger getting those crucibles and big old bites, big old bleeds onto Tasty, but he's getting that big old shark attacking Hamburger. Does get a bit of a heal in between, and it's going to use his racial in order to give him all that intellect, in order to take off all those bleeds. Has himself a pretty big setup. That's a big pet next to him. That Hamburger is not going to be able to catch a reset, though. Hit him with a frost shock whenever he can. He needs to get himself a setup onto the feral. It's going to be a little bit of a cyclotronic around the corner. Hamburger actually took most of it into a big old earth shock. Maybe some zapparoonies out of Tasty. It's going to be light lots of trinkets out of it. Short stun onto Tasty. Could go for a meteor out of the elemental. Not going for meteor from Ellie just yet. Just waiting for it for a little bit. Tasty trying to get himself a little bit of a heal. Knockback coming in a little bit early, though, and that's going to be maybe a second pet might need to come out. Wall coming up for Tasty right now. Does get himself Primal Earth Elemental. If he can land himself a double stun, he might be in a good spot. Early stun onto Hamburger. Zap coming out right now before he gets himself wall up and running. Might be able to get himself a huge Earth Shock. Big Earth Shock coming out. Maybe last one to follow. Wall up available for Hamburger. Is that wall going to be enough right now to help him live? Crucible right after to get himself a heal. Shark attacking from out of nowhere. Down he goes. Tasty making a comeback against a feral versus Hamburger. Very well played. I feel like Hamburger, if he adjusts his talents just a little bit, like knowing he's playing against an elemental shaman, he might have had a different chance. Blocks is going to be up next to dude. Oh my god, from one feral into the other. Tasty is not having a good one right now. Oh, going to get a knockback onto Prox, however, though. He's playing a troll. Stunned by the pet, by the earth elemental. So he's not going to go for a lasso right after. Still getting that big earth shock, and a short lasso right afterwards is going to allow him to reposition. Meatballs coming in onto Prox. Might have to pop a wall right now. Prox is going to have to go over to the bear form and a renewal right after this. Got himself bear form to give him more health, more helpful. Renewal to give him more healing overall. And Tasty using that Warlock Gateway to try to see if he can get away from Prox for just a second. Prox still holding on to a trinket if things ever go bad. So the next item, last one, where he might die, he still has that as a leverage. And you can see Prox actually trying to go for self heals, actually killing off Tasty Totem when he gets a chance. Nine's going to get hit with an Earth Shock into a bit of a zap, trying to go for cooldowns himself. Short stun on Tasty, as Tasty does take off all those bleeds in just a second. So Prox is going to be behind on damage, does not have those bleeds to work for Tasty. Is going to be trinket onto that light lasso. Tasty still has one more Zapparoonie ready. And Prox continuing to heal himself as much as he can, trying to use those calm points into finishers, getting big old regrows back to back whenever he got it. Double wall is still available in case he puts himself in a bad spot. Tasty tries to go in for a cyclotronic there, while Prox goes behind the pillar, killing some of those totems while he's at it. Grounding totem coming out for Prox. I don't know if there's anything Prox can use that can be grounded. Maybe Maledect? Does he run Mali? Maybe that's what happened. Lightning lasso into Prox right now. He does get to pre-wall this. That's going to be a fire elemental. Not going to be dropping a meteor on the guy. That's perfect opportunity. Double crucible for Tasty as Prox's trade actually leaves him. Cycle trying to follow. Safety trick is up onto Prox. Trying to get himself as much heal as he can while that shield holds up. Tasty could push in. Next lightning lasso could be end. Maybe it's going to be an Earth Shock out of Tasty. Earth Shock coming out. Zapparoonie coming in to follow. Double lightning bolts. Now actually going to get rooted. And Prox actually using the wall as well as a bit of the stairs to line aside Tasty while he still has those big zaps ready. Maybe second Earth Shock does have a second Earth Shock ready. Needs to keep Prox low in health as best as possible. Prox trying to heal himself with crucibles. Going to be a lightning lasso to put the feral down by a little bit. He has so much healing though. So many heals. That lightning lasso didn't do nearly as much work as he wanted it. Prox, I don't know what kind of setup he's got going on, but he's healing a lot. Does he have the urchin trinket? Because that heals based on how much damage you take. That's basically like a passive death strike. Yeah, that's huge if that's what he's got going on. But Tasty got wall back up and running. See how his dots rolling into Prox, so you can see the Prox happening on Prox. Tasty needs to make a comeback out of this. Does he have his Dwarven Racial available? Lightning Lasso before Prox gets the setup. Huge damage out of the Lasso. Does burn through the trade the Prox got going on. That plays with his bleeds really easily. Stun onto Tasty. And Prox, if he has his Racial right now, could take those bleeds off right now. Gonna be an Earth Shock onto Prox. Does go for a wall here. Does he also use his Racial? He does. Taking all of those bleeds. And Prox is gonna have to catch up and get those dots back up and running onto Tasty. Rip and Rake gone, which actually empowers Tasty with intellect for a short time. But the biggest advantage for Tasty is going to be the fact that he takes those dots off of him. So Tricky coming out onto Prox as he gets hit with a Lightning Last. And look at Prox healing, man. Every time he's just trying to play up to the healing game. He's just maintained his health as best as possible, killing totems by Tasty every single second he gets a chance. But look at that, dude. Regrowth, gonna give himself, Rejuve, maybe a Swiftman in there, Hazard Renewal if things ever go bad. Big Earthshock onto Prox. But he's just trying to outlast him, dude. He's playing that Resto Affinity. He's basically a Restoration Druid at that point, killing off totems by Tasty, not even letting Tasty get the totem that generates a Maelstrom over time. I mean, he might as well hit something, right? If he cannot reach Tasty. It's going to be a stun. Tasty does have a trinket if things go bad. Needs to get some sort of an elemental totem out. Like an earth elemental totem with a second wall for Tasty would be huge. Good lightning lasso to take Prox down. But again, that healing playstyle just not going to let Tasty go anywhere at all. That's going to be Capacitor Totem. Going to walk out of it though. And Tasty stood next to the Capacitor Totem in case Prox was going to go on top of him. Fire Elemental Primal is back up and running. Tasty could have some huge damage off it. Cyclotronic Blast onto Prox. I don't think he actually ended up channeling the rest of that Cyclotronic. Trying to get a healing surge in. Barely has any health. Does have Earth Shield up and running. Chick gets out of that. That's going to be a little bit of a lightning lasso onto Prox. Doesn't have a lot left. Actually could go down. Could be a big turnaround. Does he have an Earth Shock right now? Crucible right now. Frost Shocks are back to back. Needs to make sure to take off the HOTS. The Elemental could go for a big old Meteor. Trying to get a big old Stormkeeper. Slow on one side. Is going to kill the slow totem. Is able to catch up. Getting a big old zap in there. Wall up for Tasty. That's going to be double zap right now. Earth Shock and Dust Clap on Prox. That's the second. Feral down. And Joker, you better give him an honor duel here. He is not even going to do it, are ya? He is not even going to do it. What a joker. What a joke. What a jokester. Tricky coming out for Joker, as a Primal Elemental coming out with Lightning Lasso to follow for Tasty. Needs to bail out of that, away from that Abomination immediately. Does get that second wall from that Earth Elemental. Stun onto Tasty right now. Doesn't have a way to deal with a Death Knight right now, but he's doing just fine. The second wall is coming in clutch right now. Necrotics are trying to stack up. Does get a stun on the Army of the Dead. Needs to continue those slows onto Joker to keep him at bay the whole time and might be able to actually escape and recover. Using Crucible's defensively. Joker popping an AMS very early here, which might be great for Tasty. Using that Warlock Gateway to escape for just a second. That's allowed. That is part of the advantage of the Warlocks, or bringing a Warlock on your team. That is allowed in this 5v5 1v1 Duels. It equalizes the game. I mean, come on. You think a Holy Death Knight would have a hard time with an Elemental Shaman without a little bit to equalize the situation? Come on. Tasty not able to knock Joker back. Death's Advance, keeping him immune from it. Trying to see if he can land a Hex on the guy. Grounding Totem is up in case Joker was going to get an interrupt. Grounding is going to absorb that interrupt. And Tasty is able to get himself at least a little bit of healing. Finally able to get some dots rolling to Joker. He does have a big Death Strike ready, but Tasty isn't going to give him the opportunity. I don't think. If he can get a knockback on the guy, it might be huge. Maybe an Earthshock to follow. Get himself double zapped twice. So that's going to be all his damage into a Lightning Lasso right afterwards. Could that be enough? Does he have an Earthshock ready afterwards? Stun into Tasty. Does he have a knockback for the DK? He actually gets a second stun on the guy. If he has the knockback, this will be perfect. That's going to be a Cyclotronic trying to come out for Tasty in case he gets interrupted. The bunch of Necrotics is stacked up on the guy. Joker has a pretty beefy AMS rolling on him. Tasty just trying to wait out that AMS for a little bit. Does he have a big Earthshock to follow? It's going to get a knockback, but Joker does have Death's Advance. Tasty trying to get himself a healing surge back to back, getting gripped on it. Crucible to follow right after. Does he have anything to follow? It's going to be Fire Elemental available. Lightning Lasso to follow right after onto Joker. Barely has any health. He needs to get himself a heal. No! The pets end up closing him out. He did such a good job against two Ferals, man. Back-to-back Ferals. Oh my goodness. So close. So close. And Joker is going to have to go up against Fortune now, as he's just looking to close out the game with Joker. Stun onto Fortune. And Joker is going to be the one a little bit behind. He needs to get himself a big old death pack right now. Or Transfusion, since he doesn't have Death Pack available for a while. Needs to get some Death Strikes, that's for sure. Getting the Army of Death up and running. Actually getting quite a bit of damage to Fortune. Tricky coming out. Is that going to trigger right now, actually? Down he goes. Fortune caught himself. Dude, Joker actually had quite great damage on Fortune just now. If he was able to get himself Transfusion, Fortune actually would have maybe not even stood a chance, and that's going to be La coming next. Is going to get a stun into Fortune since he's in his face either way. Tricky coming out for La right after with a Crucible to follow, and Fortune is going to be behind the pillar. Now, Lai's going to have the hardest time against a Monk right now, dude. Shatterpace is difficult already. Wall coming out for Fortune immediately. Fear by La is going to get a Siphon onto Fortune. He does eliminate a Siphon immediately. And La goes into Insanity form for a second. Mind Control trying to come out is going to get interrupted by Fortune. He's going to use Crucible at least to heal himself while the Karma is up and running. Trying to get an MC again. Not going to happen with that ring. And La did use for himself earlier already Vampiric Embrace. So he's not going to have that heal for a while. Does have Disperse if things ever go bad. There's going to be some Shadowmans for law right now. 30% dampening, so those heals are going to get worse and worse. Actually going to be Fortune dispelling himself from that fear for a second. From the dots, hoards himself for a moment. Stun to fall. VT is back up and running. Shadowmans are coming out for law, but he just doesn't have a lot left. Might have to go for a disperse here, and it's exactly what he's going to do. Fortune bailing back to the pillar ASAP. Is that going to be a fear? Maybe out of law. It's going to get a Siphon, and Fortune is going to eliminate that Siphon immediately. Shadowmans are coming out for law. As long as he maintains a dot proc playstyle with Fortune, he might have a good spot. Needs to get a mind control onto Fortune right now. Lexium coming in onto La is going to take that touch of damage. Did not get a mind control, and down he goes. Oh my goodness. Greater Fade is exactly what he needed in order to try to land a mind control onto Fortune, or just Greater Fade the dot, or just Greater Fade it. Any one of those things could have helped him. Stormbolt onto Fortune as Duplin is right on top of him. He's going to go for a bit of a Blaze Storm, but Ring of Peace is going to kind of boop him around. And Fortune looking to close out the game with Duplin, but Fortune doesn't have a lot of defenses left. Karma coming up in about 10 seconds, so Duplin should be aware of it. The pillars right now are so perfect. Fortune has himself plenty of mobility, plenty of runabout when it comes to the pillars. Just plenty of surface area. You can just hide behind the pillar away from any enemy. Also plenty of places to get a port up. You also have the lower side of the platform, upper side of the platform. Duplin does have a leap, so you should be able to handle it. Going to be a wall for Fortune, pre-walling any damage. Duplin did not get anything meaningful out of it. He needs to get a huge rampage. He needs to get himself some huge damage back to back if he's going to go for a setup with a stun. He needs to be basically pushing out damage every time he lands a stun into Fortune. Every time he can touch the guy, he should always be going for Hambo damage. Short stun onto Duplin. Trick us out of it with a ring to follow. Duplin is going to actually be locked out of this corner completely, and even if he tries to go for a leap, he's actually going to get booped out of the way. That's going to kind of mess him up by a little bit. Fist of Fury locking him out. Stormbolt does Duplin have himself a setup. Actually getting quite a bit of meaningful damage onto Fortune. It's going to be a big old port away from the Monk. 11 minutes and 41% dampening. Fortune has every cooldown available back up by now. Look at that mobility out of a Monk. He can just go from one side of the arena to the other, get himself a reset, get himself a port up, get a couple of vivifies in. By the time Duplin is even over there, he's just met with Fists of Fury. Come on, Fortune, what kind of a house guest are you? Just fisting your guests like that at the front door before they even said hello. Fortune taking quite a bit of damage right now. Duplin got himself into huge enrage. It's going to be a Karma right now. This is up to Duplin to try to minimize the damage of that Karma as best possible. Fortune trying to get as much damage freebie while he's got it. Going to be in charge as Fortune actually, oh, he got himself a trinket for health increase. Is going to go for a big touch of death on Duplin. Duplin needs to make a play right now. Might have to go for enrage regeneration right as the touch of death is about to hit. Needs to get himself a huge heal right now. Huge touch of death coming in, but he's still surviving. He's still alive. Fortune popping in a little bit of wall, but also a little bit of dampened magic ring is going to separate these two for just a second. Does Duplin have maybe a fear or something to stop Fortune? Yeah, actually, Fortune is out of all cooldowns right after this. Does he have a port back up? It looks like he is trying to get himself a port. Going to be Duplin leaping on top, and Fortune actually might go down. It's going to be Zerker's range out of it. Fist of Fury coming out. Does I know Stormbolt coming out? Duplin, does he get the execute? He does land that execute. Oh my god. Let's go, Duplin, my boy. He stayed in there, man. He didn't struggle. He just stayed in and kept playing, and that's how you fucking do it, dude. That is how you drop down a Monk. Woo! Yo, by the way, Fortune, you played really, really well. I'm sorry. I gotta get excited for my boy right here. Gonna be a greater Pyroblast. Well, Duplin, you can't win all of them, can you? You can't win all of them, buddy. Well played, boys. Well played for everybody. Tasty. Making a comeback. 5 million damage. He just went through 2 people, and he did 5 million damage. How'd you do 5 million just to 2 people? Dude, Ferals. Chat, we were just talking about some classes have insane healing, right? We're just talking about that, right? Ferals. Let's put them on the table, if anything. My god. Alright, boys. Let's get another one going.